The Galaxy S26 Ultra is already stirring up serious excitement, and we're still a ways off from its official release. But from what's leaking out, it's looking like Samsung is preparing something special, not necessarily a total reinvention, but definitely a smarter, faster, and more refined upgrade over last year's Ultra. Let's start with what's happening under the hood. Samsung is shaking things up this time. There's talk of a dual processor strategy for the S26 series, which means different regions might get different chips again. But here's the twist. Samsung isn't just using Qualcomm's chip. They're also reportedly in talks to manufacture Qualcomm's new Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 2 using their own 2nm process. That's right, Samsung Foundry could end up building the chip that powers the next wave of Android flagships, which is a huge step in rebuilding trust in their chip division. But before you get worried about Samsung's past Exynos missteps, especially with the S22 Ultra and its overheating drama, breathe easy. The S26 Ultra isn't expected to use Samsung's 2nm chips yet. That part of the plan is still in the early stages, and production probably won't start until the end of this year or even early next year. Instead, the S26 Ultra is going with the tried and tested 3nm version of the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 2, built by TSMC. That's actually good news for performance and efficiency, since TSMC chips have consistently outperformed Samsung's in recent years. It also looks like Samsung is saving its own 2nm chip, possibly the Exynos 2600, for a later release, maybe in their next-gen foldables. That would give them more time to iron out any kinks before bringing it to their flagship S lineup. Smart move. As for the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 2 itself, it's shaping up to be a powerhouse. Early reports suggest a 30% jump in performance, which is a massive leap in the smartphone world. The GPU cache has been increased from 12 to 16 megabytes, which means better gaming and graphics performance. And there's an even more optimized, made-for-Galaxy version of the chip being developed specifically for Samsung phones. This special version will be fine-tuned for better heat management and even faster real-world performance. Along with that, Samsung might be bumping the RAM up to 16 GB for the Ultra model. Considering the current base models already start with 12 GB, this doesn't sound far-fetched. There's also talk of support for next-gen memory like LPDDR5X or even DDR6, which would help the phone stay future-proof for years. Now, design-wise, don't expect any drastic changes this year. The overall look of the S26 Ultra will be very similar to the S25 Ultra. So if you liked the rounded corners and clean camera layout from the last generation, you'll probably feel right at home. Samsung is sticking with the titanium frame too, so the build quality is going to stay top tier. There was a brief rumor going around that Samsung might reduce the number of rear cameras, but that's been debunked. The S26 Ultra will still rock 4 cameras on the back, just like before. However, there is one notable change. The front glass is getting upgraded to a new generation of Gorilla Glass armor. It'll be more durable, more scratch resistant, and could even help shave a few grams off the total weight. That's a nice touch, especially on a phone with a nearly 7-inch display. Even though the design is mostly staying the same, these internal improvements make the S26 Ultra feel like more than just a minor refresh. The chip is faster, the battery efficiency is expected to improve, and you're still getting all the premium materials and top-of-the-line features that Samsung packs into its Ultra models. As for timing, it looks like the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 2 will be announced sometime around the end of September, with the first phones using it launching in October. Samsung usually drops their S series in the first couple of months of the year, so expect the S26 Ultra to follow that pattern. But rest assured, it'll be one of the first flagships to use this new chip. If you're still using an S22 Ultra or earlier, the S26 Ultra might just be the upgrade you've been waiting for. And even if you're on an S25 Ultra, it could be worth holding out to see how much of a leap this new chip and RAM upgrade actually brings. Either way, it's clear Samsung isn't slowing down. They're playing it smart, focusing on performance, battery life, and reliability. And that's exactly what most people want from a flagship phone these days. So, what are your expectations from upcoming S26 Ultra? Let us know it down below in the comments section, and I'll see you all in the next one. Until next time, take care.